Hey everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Frazier. Let's jump right into your watches and warnings on this Thursday. And you look around, there's not a whole lot. I do want to point out along the East Coast, I do have a couple of aerial flood advisories and a couple of rip current statements too, given some of those nearby systems extending all the way from, looks like Rhode Island, all the way down toward North Carolina. Out to the northwest, this is where I want to mainly put my focus on. We had a lot of flood watches in effect for much of Oregon, extending into Idaho, with a lot of those heat warnings into northern Nevada, as well as parts of, looks like Utah, and even, yeah, that's about it though. Nevada and Utah. Okay, desert areas, that makes sense. But even some of those flood watches all the way in the far western parts of Colorado. Okay, something we're going to be keeping an eye on over the next couple of days, mainly because they're looking at a decently strong cold front pushing through. All right, you got those 70s in places like Seattle, San Diego. Triple digits still lingering around a little bit around Phoenix. A lot of those 90s into Texas, but not uncomfortable 90s. Minneapolis 79, Indianapolis 85, Atlanta 88, and mostly sunny. But by those overnight hours, this is where fall is starting to try to peek its way through. A lot of our southern states, not so much. Still a mix of those 60s and 70s, a couple of those 50s along much of the Northeast, 57 for Buffalo, 60 for Denver, 55 for Boise. All right. Future track. I don't have a ton of action going on here other than a couple of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms around Colorado to Wyoming to Montana into places like Idaho, as well as parts of Washington and Oregon. Small chance for some severe storms kind of on the four corners right here. I'm talking Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, as well as Arizona. How many states can you name? And you know what? I'm still looking at that entire system, really bringing most of this heavy rain to the northwest, trying to move its way out into the central plains, begins to kind of fall apart by Sunday morning, regather itself up, extending from the panhandle of Texas up into North Dakota. So if we do see anything significant, it's just going to be more rainfall and some isolated thunderstorms than anything else. We're very late in the summer to see any kind of severe weather, and a little bit too early into fall to see anything drastic. So this is why we see a couple of those flood watches in effect, mainly for southern Colorado and into northern New Mexico, anywhere from about 1.5 inches to almost 3 inches expected to fall. And it's all because to this low pressure system sitting right on top, it's going to be moving and grooving, and then it kind of just stretches its way back up. I'm not looking at a whole lot of large scale impacts, but could we see some cooler temperatures in those regions? Absolutely. How long will they last? Probably not that long.